I'm Ashley Dvorkin with your Fox 411 RottenTomatoes.com weekend box office preview. I'm joined by Matt Atchity, editor-in-chief of RottenTomatoes.com. Welcome to you, Matt.
Oh, hello. Thanks for having me.
So let's start with the new nationwide release this week, which is topping your Tomatometer, the top 5. So tell us about the film, written, directed, and starring Chris Rock, and also tell us what the critics are saying.
This movie, as you mentioned, is starring Chris Rock, and he wrote and directed this. He's playing a comedian-turned film actor who has a new dramatic role or dramatic film opening in a particular weekend, the same weekend that he's scheduled to get married to his reality star fiancée. And as this press frenzy is happening around him, he's also doing a long-form interview with a writer from the New York Times, played by Rosario Dawson. And what you end up with is a lot of conversational comedy, kind of in the vein of Woody Allen, which Chris Rock has drawn that comparison himself. And honestly, Ashley, this is the best Woody Allen movie of the last 20 years. This is a fantastic movie. It's a top 5 for me for the year. I loved this movie, and the critics love it too. It's certified fresh at 92% on the Tomatometer. Lots of laughs, very smart comedy, very moving when it needs to be. And I think this is a must-see this weekend.
And just really quick, also tell us about some of the other actors that are in it. You mentioned Rosario Dawson, and who else? I mean, he really assembled quite a cast for this.
Yeah, great supporting terms from J.B. Smoove, Leslie Jones, who's made a big splash on SNL. Kevin Hart's in this. We see a brief appearance from Adam Sandler. It's definitely some people that are friends with Chris Rock, but he's got a great cast. Sherry Shepherd's on this one. Really great supporting cast, and everybody kind of gets a moment to shine in this.
Great. Okay, so next, tell us about Ridley Scott's epic scale production, Exodus: Gods and Kings, with Christian Bale as Moses.
This is a little bit of a disappointment to critics, unfortunately. This is a movie that, tells the Exodus story, tells the Moses story about him finding out that he's not really part of the royal family, that he's descended from Hebrews, finds out he's part of the group that's, that's been enslaved by the Egyptians. He's exiled. He spends a few years in exile, and then we see the burning bush moment. God tells him to go and rescue his people, and Pharaoh won't let him go, and then we get the plagues, which you're seeing there on the screen. This is a movie that is a spectacular film. There's a lot of visual splendor here, but it never really hits the emotional impact. I think this movie's fine. It's exactly what you're going to expect, but it's not as moving as Ridley Scott's past works, such as Gladiator. It doesn't really have the drama here, unfortunately. So the critics really are coming down harshly on this one. It's only 29% on the Tomatometer. That being said, if you want to see the big budget version of the Exodus story, you're getting exactly what you're expecting here. No big surprises.
There you go. Okay, well, it's time for a Rotten Tomatoes Roadshow, a look at past certified fresh films on the Tomatometer. And this week, we are going to take our cue from Christian Bale, recapping past Christian Bale films, how they ranked on the Tomatometer. So we start, of course, with Batman. So tell us what the critics were saying about Batman Begins.
Batman Begins is kind of sets a renaissance for comic book movies. We see Christian Bale as the title character. We see it's kind of an origin story for Batman. This is a heavy film. Christian Bale puts in a great performance here. It's a movie that forces you to take a comic book character relatively seriously, and this is the movie that really turned Christian Bale into a major box office draw, which is where any actor wants to be. Critics liked it. It's 85% on the Tomatometer. It's certified fresh.
And next, his Oscar-winning transformative role in The Fighter. So remind us about that film and where it ranks on the Tomatometer.
The Fighter is a great movie. It's mostly a movie about Mark Wahlberg's character, who is an amateur boxer, and Christian Bale plays his brother in this, who struggles with heroin addiction. It's a very transformative role. He lost a lot of weight for this. It's a very high energy role. Great supporting turn here. He kind of steals the movie from Mark Wahlberg, and a well-deserved Oscar here. Critics really like the movie. 91% on the Tomatometer.
And of course, speaking of transformations and losing a lot of weight for a role, tell us about The Machinist.
Yeah, The Machinist is a movie that was, back to back with Batman Begins, and Christian Bale went through a serious physical transformation. He lost probably 40 or 50 pounds to appear in this movie. He plays a man who isn't sleeping at night and has some kind of unknown issue in his past that's kind of causing him psychological problems. This is a tense thriller, psychological thriller, and, Christian Bale looks almost unhealthy in this, but a very powerful performance and a powerful movie. 77% on the Tomatometer, certified fresh. If you've not ever seen this one's worth seeking out. It's disturbing, but it's a really solid performance from Christian Bale.
Okay, great. So many options. Matt, thank you so much, as always, for all of the above.
Always great to be here.
And for more on these films and this week's new movies, check RottenTomatoes.com, as well as Fox411.com for our cast interviews and movie previews. Thank you for joining us. For Fox 411, I'm Ashley Dvorkin.